Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the birthday boy's mother, the old fat pig we all have to pretend isn't eating her weight in cake tonight. The microphone screeched. 300 black-tie guests at the Vinoy Renaissance turned in perfect unison. Sophia, my son Alexander's wife, stood under the crystal chandeliers in her custom gown, champagne sloshing, pointing straight at me with that venomous smile. Laughter detonated. Phones shot up like weapons. Her friends actually oinked. One of them yelled, "Roll her in mud." I stood there in my emerald silk gown from Worth Avenue, frosting still on my thumb from sneaking Alexander a bite like he was 5 again, while my only son stared at the marble floor and said nothing. Then, Richard Whitmore, Sophia's father, the man who bragged for years that Whitmore Logistics was untouchable, went the color of printer paper. He grabbed his wife's arm and whispered, loud enough for the entire head table to hear, "Wait, that's Evelyn Harrington, the woman who just bought my entire company last night?" Dead. Silence. Because the old fat pig they were all roasting on camera was the secret billionaire who now owned 100% of Richard's failing empire, his beach house, his yacht, and every cent he had in the world. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your city in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe, because this is the story of how I paid for my son's entire life, his wedding, his house, everything, and then made his wife and her daddy regret the day they ever opened their mouths. Let's start exactly where it all began, the moment Sophia handed me the microphone she thought would destroy me. The microphone screeched. Every single person in the grand ballroom of the Vinoy Renaissance turned at the exact same second. Sophia was already laughing, that drunk, mean girl laugh that makes your skin crawl. She tapped the mic again, harder, like she couldn't wait another second to destroy someone. "Ladies and gentlemen," she slurred, champagne sloshing over her manicured fingers, "before we sing happy birthday to my amazing husband, I just have to take one teensy moment to introduce the woman who made tonight possible." 300 phones lifted like weapons. "She's right over there by the cake she probably wants to dive into head first," she sneered, pointing straight at me. "Everybody give a big, warm round of applause for Alexander's mother, the old, fat, disgusting pig we all have to pretend isn't embarrassing us right now." The laughter exploded. Not polite chuckles. Full-throated, cruel, howling laughter. One of her friends actually oinked loud and proud. Another one did it again, higher, like a barnyard animal. A third woman cupped her hands around her mouth and yelled, "Oink, oink, piggy wants cake." Phones were shaking because people were laughing so hard while recording. I stood there in my custom emerald silk gown, the one that cost $28,000 and was made to hide the extra weight I've carried since the cancer treatments 20 years ago, and I felt every single eye in that ballroom stab into me like needles. Someone in the back screamed, "Roll her in mud." Another voice, "How many tears is she planning to eat by herself?" A child, an actual child, started crying because even she knew this was wrong, and her mother hissed, "Shh, it's funny." My only son, Alexander, the birthday boy, stood 3 feet away from me, 40 years old today, 6'2" in his Tom Ford tux, handsome the way his father was handsome. He looked at the floor. He always looks at the floor when she opens her mouth. Sophia wasn't done. She leaned into the microphone like she was on a comedy special. "I mean, look at her, y'all," she cackled. "She flew the cake in from Paris on a private jet for cake. Because apparently when you're shaped like a farm animal, calories don't count." The room lost its mind. Men were doubled over. Women were wiping tears of laughter. Someone started a slow clap that turned into rhythmic oinking. Oink, oink, oink. And half the ballroom joined in. I felt the frosting still on my thumb from when I'd snuck Alexander a bite an hour earlier, the way I used to do when he was 5 and scared of birthday candles. Now I was the joke. Sophia raised her glass. She toasted, voice-dripping venom, to Evelyn Harrington, the greediest, fattest, most pathetic excuse of a mother-in-law on the entire Gulf Coast. May she choke on her cake and save us all the embarrassment. Glasses clinked. More oinking. More phones. More laughter. I looked at my son again. He lifted his eyes for half a second, just long enough for me to see the apology he would never say out loud, then dropped them again.
That was the moment something inside me died, and something else woke up. Sophia dropped the mic, literally dropped it, and it made that horrific feedback screech. Her friends swarmed her, hugging her, telling her she was a legend, that this was the funniest thing they had ever seen. Someone started chanting, "Speech, speech," and Sophia picked the mic back up. "Oh, wait, I forgot the best part," she screamed. "She's not just fat, she's broke. All that old Florida money is gone. She's been living off my daddy's generosity for years. Right, Piggy?" The crowd roared. I smiled. The same smile I wore in 1998 when a boardroom full of men laughed at me for thinking a woman could run a beauty empire. The same smile I wore the day I sold that empire for $1.4 billion and disappeared. I picked up my clutch, turned, and started walking. People parted like I was contagious. I walked past the 5-tier lingerie cake I had flown in that morning, past the ice sculpture melting into the shape of a broken 40, past the string quartet that had stopped playing the second Sophia grabbed the mic. I walked straight out the terrace doors into the warm October night. The second my Louboutin touched the veranda, the oinking started again behind me, louder this time, following me like a wave. I didn't turn around. My driver Marcus was waiting with the Maybach door already open. He saw my face and didn't say a word. I slid into the back seat, closed the door, and for 10 full seconds, I just sat there. Then, I reached into the hidden pocket sewn inside my gown and pulled out the phone no one in that ballroom even knew existed. Old black phone, New York number. Haven't turned it on since 2010. I powered it on. It took 33 seconds to find signal. 33 seconds of muffled laughter and oinking still leaking through the open terrace doors. The phone lit up.
One saved contact. I pressed call. A man answered on the first ring. "Harrington Capital. Who the fuck is this?" I watched the party lights flicker across the waters like 1,000 cruel eyes. "It's Evelyn," I said, voice completely calm. Silence on the other end. Then, "Jesus Christ, we thought you died." "Close," I replied. I could still hear the oinking inside. "Wake the team," I said, "all of them. Conference bridge in 5 minutes." Another pause. "What are we buying?" he asked. I smiled, the real smile this time. "A logistics company in Jacksonville," I said. "Every share, every debt note, every warehouse. I want it all." I hung up, looked at my reflection in the black glass of the privacy partition. Silver hair, pearl earrings, 70 years old. The same face they just called a pig. I spoke to the reflection. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life, Sophia." Marcus closed the partition without being asked. The Maybach pulled away from the Vinoy, tires whispering over the brick drive like a promise. Behind us, the party kept going. Inside, Sophia was already posting the videos with captions like, "When you finally say what everyone's thinking, emoji, pig." She had no idea the pig just bought the entire farm. And tomorrow morning, when the banks open, her father is going to find out exactly what happens when you let your daughter humiliate Evelyn Harrington in public. Because I remember everything, and I never, ever forget. The Maybach glided away from the Vinoy like a black shark leaving a bloody reef. Inside, the cabin was church quiet. The only sound was the soft click of the privacy partition rising and the faint clink of ice in the crystal tumbler Evelyn now held in her perfectly steady hand. Marcus's voice came through the intercom, gentle as always. "Home, Mrs. Harrington?" "Not yet," she answered. Her voice didn't shake, not even a little. She reached into the hidden pocket again and pulled out the old phone. The screen lit up like a war room. 11:59 p.m. The first text hit like a gunshot. Unknown NY number. "Evelyn. We thought you were dead.
tell me this is really you." She typed one word. "Evelyn. It's me. Conference Bridge now." Before Marcus had even turned onto Beach Drive, the phone was vibrating so hard it sounded like a hornet trapped in her palm. 12:02 a.m. 5 more messages in rapid fire. "Holy fuck, the Queen is alive." Whitmore Logistics financials just dropped in the drive. They're hemorrhaging $2.1 million a month. Senior debt is held by SunTrust Private Wealth. They're underwater and terrified. Richard Whitmore personally guaranteed $87 million. One phone call, and he's radioactive. Evelyn allowed herself the smallest exhale. She took a sip of the Pappy Van Winkle she had poured from the bar, the 23 years she had been saving since the night Alexander graduated from Vanderbilt. She had planned to open it the day he made partner at the law firm. That never happened. Sophia decided law was boring and talked him into real estate development instead. Evelyn paid for the LLC, the office on Central Avenue, the German luxury SUVs with the custom plates. She paid for everything. Always. The Maybach turned onto Snell Isle. The gates opened without a sound. 12:07 a.m. The conference bridge connected. 6 voices, her old wolves from Harrington Capital, all talking over each other. Evelyn? Jesus Christ, it's really her. Someone pinch me. Ma'am, whatever you need, name it. She waited until they were silent. Then she spoke, calm as the Gulf at dawn. Richard Whitmore's company, I want it, all of it, every share, every note, every rusty trailer in every muddy yard from here to Savannah. I want it before he finishes his Wednesday tea time at Timuquana. A beat of stunned silence. Then the alpha on the team, Daniel Cho, the same man who negotiated the $1.4 billion sale of Harrington Beauty in 2009, laughed once, low and hungry. Consider it done. SunTrust is desperate. They'll sell the senior debt for pennies if we close fast. Evelyn took another sip of bourbon. Pay double, she said. I'm not in a hurry. I'm in a mood. She killed the call. The Maybach rolled to a stop under the porte-cochere of the waterfront mansion, the one Sophia loved to call cute for its age on Instagram. Marcus opened the door. Evelyn stepped out barefoot. She had slipped the Louboutins off in the car. The warm brick felt good under her feet. She walked inside, past the original Picasso in the foyer that Sophia once called ugly doodles, past the grand piano no one played anymore because Sophia said live music was tacky. She went straight to the kitchen island, poured herself a second finger of Pappy, and opened the hidden drawer. Inside were 3 things. 1. A photograph of Alexander at 5 years old, frosting on his nose, arms wrapped around her neck on his birthday. 2. The Amalfi Coast wedding invoice, final balance paid $487,000, Evelyn's signature at the bottom. 3. A stack of canceled checks, every single one written from her personal account. First check, $250,000, deposit on the Coffee Pot Bayou mansion Sophia saw on Zillow and declared, the only house I'll ever live in. Second check, $178,000, custom Range Rover autobiography, pearl white because black is for funerals. Third check, $92,000, the down payment on Alexander's investment condo in Miami that Sophia uses for girls' trips. Fourth check, $487,000, the wedding in Positano that Sophia bragged Daddy paid for in every interview.
Lie. Richard Whitmore contributed $50,000 and a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. Evelyn paid the rest. Quietly. Always quietly. She ran her manicured finger down the list. Private jet to Italy, $64,000. 10 cases of Dom Perignon Rosé, $28,000. Custom embroidered Versace wedding gown, $73,000. Fireworks over the Tyrrhenian Sea, $41,000. The string quartet that played Coldplay songs because Sophia said Vivaldi was old people music, $12,000. Every zero on every check was a smile Evelyn had forced while Sophia sneered at her clothes, her weight, her perfume, her very existence. She picked up the wedding photo, Alexander beaming, Sophia glowing, Evelyn in the background wearing the same pearl earring she had on tonight, smiling like a woman who still believed love could fix anything. She set it down gently. Then she opened her laptop. The shared drive was already alive. 12:41 a.m. Whitmore Logistics, full autopsy. Total debt, $187 million. Monthly burn, $2.1 million and climbing. Personal guarantee, Richard T. Whitmore, $87 million. Collateral, Beach House Ponte Vedra, yacht, TPC Sawgrass, membership, everything. Another message from Daniel Cho. SunTrust is offering the entire senior tranche at 58 cents on the dollar. We counter at 45. They'll fold by breakfast. Evelyn typed back. Pay 75. I want them to remember who saved their quarter. She closed the laptop, walked out onto the terrace, overlooking Tampa Bay. The same water that had watched her cry the night her husband died 34 years ago. The same water that watched her build an empire while raising a fatherless little boy alone. The same water that watched her sign away $1.4 billion and disappear so the world would never use her son as leverage again. She had done it all for Alexander. Every board meeting she dominated while he napped in the corporate daycare. Every red-eye flight she took while he waited at home with the nanny she paid triple to never leave. Every dollar she quietly transferred when Sophia decided they needed another vacation, another car, another Birkin. She had paid for the life he has. She had paid for the wife who just called her a pig in front of 300 people. And tonight, for the first time in 40 years, Alexander had looked at the floor. She finished the bourbon, set the glass down with a soft clink. Then she opened her personal phone, the one Sophia mocks as Grandma's flip phone, and opened a new text to our son. She typed slowly. Enjoy the rest of your party, sweetheart. Mommy has some errands to run. She added the pig emoji, the one Sophia had used in the group chat mocking her weight, and hit send. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then nothing. She smiled the coldest smile of her life. By 6 a.m., her team already owned 68% of Whitmore Logistics' senior debt. By noon tomorrow, they would convert it to equity. By Wednesday morning, Richard Whitmore would wake up to find his empire no longer belonged to him. It belonged to the woman his daughter had just humiliated on camera. Evelyn walked back inside, kicked the kitchen drawer shut with her bare foot, and spoke to the empty house. I paid for your wedding, Sophia. I paid for your cars. I paid for your house, your bags, your entire fake life. And tonight, you called me a pig in front of the entire world. She poured one final finger of Party.Then, raised the glass to the dark water outside. Well, darling, this little pig just bought your daddy's company. And when I'm done, you won't have a farm left to oink in. She drank. The wolf was awake. And she was very, very hungry. Most people think the first time Sophia disrespected me was at the birthday party. They're wrong. The first time was 6 years ago, the night Alexander brought her home to meet me for dinner. I remember every second. I had spent all day cooking. Real cooking, not catered. Shrimp etouffee from my mother's recipe, fresh grouper caught that morning off the Vinoy Pier, key lime pie I baked myself because Alexander used to beg for it when he came home from Vanderbilt. I wore a simple lavender dress and the pearl necklace my husband gave me the day Alexander was born.
The doorbell rang at 7:02 p.m. Alexander walked in first, eyes bright, holding her hand like she was made of glass. Sophia Whitmore, 28 years old, blonde, legs for days, smile that didn't quite reach the eyes. She stepped inside, looked around the foyer with the Picasso and the Baccarat chandelier, and the very first words out of her mouth were, "Wow, it's cute. Very old Florida money, isn't it?" Alexander laughed nervously. I smiled the way I always smiled. That was strike one. Strike two came 10 minutes later. When we sat down to eat, she looked at the table, the china I'd had since my wedding, the silver candlesticks from Tiffany, and said loud enough for the housekeeper to hear, "God, I hope this food isn't as dated as the decor." Alexander mumbled something about her being tired from the drive. I passed the etouffee and said nothing. Strike three happened before dessert. She pulled out her phone, took a photo of the pie, and posted it to Instagram with the caption, "When your future mother-in-law tries to poison you with homemade dessert, pray for me, y'all." Alexander saw it. He turned red. He still said nothing. I cleared the plates myself that night.
That was the beginning, but it got so much worse. Let me take you through the greatest hits, the ones that made me start keeping a list. 1. The wedding planning. Year 1 of the nightmare. Sophia decided the wedding had to be in Positano, not St. Augustine, not even Amalfi. Positano, because anything less would be basic. The budget she sent me was $1.2 million. I paid it. She sent daily emails. "Evelyn, the florist needs another $40K for peonies out of season. Evelyn, the fireworks company wants a rush fee. Evelyn, I upgraded to the villa with the infinity pool that sleeps 40. Add $180K. Every email ended with a kiss emoji. When I flew over to see the venue, she introduced me to the wedding planner as, "This is Alexandra's mom. She's paying for everything, so just send her the invoices directly. She loves that stuff." The wedding planner laughed. I smiled. On the actual wedding day, during the mother-son dance, Sophia cut in after 30 seconds. She literally walked onto the floor, put her hand on my shoulder, and said loud enough for the microphone to catch, "Sorry, Evelyn, this song is for young people." The video is still on YouTube. It has 1.8 million views. 2. The house redecoration. Year 2 of the nightmare. 3 weeks after the honeymoon, Sophia decided my son's childhood home on Coffee Pot Bayou was depressing. She hired the most expensive designer in Tampa. Total bill, $1.4 million. She texted me photos every day. "Getting rid of the ugly wood paneling your husband loved. Vomit. Donating all the old war medals to some veteran charity. Who needs that junk? New marble imported from Italy. You'll love footing the bill, right, piggy?" She actually used the pig emoji that time. I still have the screenshot. 3. The Christmas incident. Year 3. Christmas Eve at my house. 25 family members. I spent 3 days cooking, standing ribeyes, oyster dressing, my mother's rum cake. Sophia arrived an hour late, took one look at the table, and announced to everyone, "I hope nobody's eating carbs. I'm doing keto now. Evelyn, you really should try it. Might help with the everything." Then she ordered Uber Eats sushi for herself and ate it in the corner while filming everyone on her story with the caption, "Trapped in the retirement home for the holidays, LOL." Alexander laughed along. 4. The granddaughters. Year 4. When the girls were born, my beautiful grandbabies, Charlotte and Isabella, Sophia decided I was too old to babysit alone. She hired a nanny and told me, "Safety first, Evelyn. We don't want you dropping them or forgetting where you put them." Then she charged a nanny's $92,000 annual salary to the credit card I paid off every month. 5. The everyday cruelty, years 1 through 6. The comments became background noise. At Burn's Steakhouse, "Someone cut the old lady off before she embarrasses us again." At the Don Cesar brunch, "Evelyn, that dress makes you look like a couch." In the family group chat she added me to by accident, "Alexander's mom is literally shaped like a refrigerator, LOL. Tell the pig to stop wearing perfume. It smells like mothballs and desperation." Every time Alexander read the messages, every time he stayed silent. I saved them all. I have an entire folder on a hidden drive called Sophia. Screenshots, videos, voice memos, invoices. 6 years of proof. And every time she hurt me, I sent another check, another vacation, another Birkin, another Mercedes. Because I thought if I gave her everything, she would eventually love me, or at least pretend. I was wrong. Tonight, in that ballroom, when she grabbed the microphone and called me a fat pig in front of 300 people while my son stared at the floor, that was the moment I stopped pretending. That was the moment I stopped paying to be insulted, because the money she spent like water, it wasn't Richard Whitmore's money. It wasn't even Alexander's money. It was mine. Every dollar, every zero. And now? Now I'm done paying. Now I'm collecting. The Mabac is long gone. I'm standing in my war room, the hidden office behind the library that no one in the family even knows exists. The walls are covered in screens. One screen shows Whitmore's stock price, already down 9% after hours because someone heard a rumor. Another screen shows Richard Whitmore's personal guarantees, glowing red like a dying heartbeat. A third screen is open to the folder marked Sophia. I click it. Hundreds of files. I scroll slowly. Every insult, every emoji, every laugh at my expense. I stop on the video from tonight, already uploaded by 3 different guests. Sophia at the microphone, oinking, the crowd roaring. I watch it once, just once. Then I close the laptop, pick up the burner phone, text Daniel Cho, start the transfer. I want the first tranche of debt in our name by 8 a.m. His reply is instant. Already done. Welcome back, Evelyn. We missed you. I set the phone down, walk to the balcony. The moon is full over Tampa Bay, silver and cold. I speak to the water the way I used to speak to my husband when he was alive. They thought I was weak because I was kind. They thought I was poor because I was quiet. They thought I was nothing because I let them. Tonight, they learned different. I turn back inside, close the balcony doors. The wolf doesn't need fresh air anymore. She's already hunting. And Sophia? Sophia is about to discover what happens when the pig you've been kicking for 6 years turns out to have been a dragon the whole time. Sleep well, darling. Tomorrow, the real nightmare begins. Alexander was my only child, my miracle baby. The doctors said I would never carry to term after the cancer. They were wrong. I held him for the first time on March 12, 1985, in a Tampa hospital that doesn't even exist anymore. He weighed 6 pounds, 2 ounces, and he wrapped his tiny fist around my finger and never let go. For 34 years, he never let go. Until Sophia. I need you to understand how deep this betrayal cuts, so walk with me through the moments that slowly, quietly, killed the little boy I raised and replaced him with the man who stared at the marble floor while his wife called me a pig. Moment 1. The night he proposed. Alexander called me from the beat at the Don Cesar. It was 2017. "Mom, I'm doing it tonight. I'm proposing." I drove straight there with a bottle of 1996 Dom Perignon I had been saving for this exact night. When Sophia said yes, she hugged me for the first time ever. I thought that was the beginning of a family. 2 weeks later, Alexander came to the house alone. He sat at my kitchen island, same spot I'm sitting in right now, and couldn't look me in the eye. "Mom, Sophia thinks it might be better if you weren't in too many of the engagement photos. She says the aesthetic is modern coastal, and, well, you're more traditional." I laughed. I actually laughed. "Of course, sweetheart. Whatever makes her happy." That was the first time he chose her over me. I still have the engagement photos. I'm in exactly 0 of them. Moment 2. The wedding rehearsal dinner. Columbia Restaurant, Ybor City. 150 people. Richard Whitmore stood up to give a toast. He thanked both families and then spent 8 minutes talking about his own business, his own yacht, his own golf handicap. When it was my turn, I kept it to 90 seconds. I told the story of Alexander learning to walk on this very same patio, how he took his first steps toward me holding a slice of Cuban bread. People cried. Sophia rolled her eyes so hard, I heard it. Later, in the ladies' room, I overheard her on the phone. "God, his mom is so desperate for attention. Did you hear that pathetic story? Like anyone cares about some toddler with bread." Alexander was standing right outside the door. He heard it too. He never said a word. Moment 3. The birth of Charlotte, 2019. I got the call at 3:14 a.m. My first granddaughter was coming. I drove 90 miles an hour from St. Pete to Tampa General. I was in the waiting room for 9 hours. When they finally let me in, Sophia was holding the baby, glowing, perfect. Alexander hugged me and whispered, "Mom, thank you for coming." Sophia looked up and smiled, sweet as poison. "Evelyn, you look exhausted. Maybe go home and rest. We'll FaceTime you later when you're more presentable." I hadn't slept. I was still in yesterday's clothes. Alexander walked me to the elevator. At the doors, I turned. Aren't you coming with me?" He looked back at the room. I'll call you tomorrow, Mom." He never called. I sat in the parking garage and cried so hard I threw up. Moment 4. The trust fund conversation. 2021. I set up a $5 million trust for the girls, irrevocable, bulletproof. I invited Alexander to the lawyer's office to sign. Sophia came instead of him. She walked in wearing sunglasses indoors, scrolling TikTok. The lawyer explained the terms. Money only for education, health, and basic support. No touching principal until age 30. Sophia laughed out loud. "This is a joke, right? 5 million? My friend's kids have 50. She looked at me like garbage. "Alexander said you were loaded. This is insulting." She stood up and walked out. Later that night, Alexander texted me. "Mom, Sophia's really upset. Can you just make it 10 for the kids?" I made it 10. I never told him Sophia spent the first $400,000 on a Porsche Cayenne and a nose job. Moment 5. The birthday party video call. Alexander's 39th birthday, 2023. I was in New York for a secret Harrington Capital meeting. I called at 8 p.m. sharp to sing happy birthday. Sophia answered his phone. She was drunk. In the background, I could see the cake I had sent, Le Durier again, and 20 friends. Sophia held the phone up so I could see everyone. "Say hi to Grandma Piggy, y'all." They all oinked. Alexander was in the frame. He was laughing, actually laughing. I hung up.
He never called to apologize. There are dozens more moments like this. Every holiday, every milestone, every time I reached out and he pulled away, because it was easier than fighting her. But the worst one, the one that finally broke me, happened 3 months before the 40th birthday party. I was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation. Nothing deadly, but I had to have a minor procedure. I called Alexander from the hospital bed, drugged and scared. "Sweetheart, I'm at St. Anthony's. Can you come?" He hesitated. "Mom, Sophia has a charity gala tonight. It's really important for her brand. Can it wait until tomorrow?" I told him it was fine. I went through the procedure alone. Marcus drove me home. I lay in bed for 2 days. He never came. Sophia posted photos from the gala with the caption, "Raising money for children in need while some people just want attention. Arrr!" He liked the post. That was the last time I asked him for anything. Until tonight. Tonight, when the woman he chose over me every time grabbed a microphone and destroyed me in front of 300 people while he stared at the floor. I waited. After I left the ballroom, I waited in the Maybach for 20 whole minutes. I thought maybe, just maybe, he would run out, apologize, hug me, choose me for once. He never came. At 10:53 p.m., Sophia posted the first video. Caption, "When you finally speak the truth and the room loses its mind. Edda, best birthday roast ever." Alexander commented under it. Edda, legendary. 3 laughing emojis. From my own son.
I have the screenshot. I'm looking at it right now. The wolf inside me didn't just wake up tonight. She was born the first time he chose her over me. She grew every time he let her hurt me. And tonight, when he laughed at the video of his mother being humiliated, she decided it was time. I pick up the burner phone, text Daniel Cho one last message before dawn. Make sure the takeover is public. I want Alexander to watch it happen. His reply comes instantly. He will. I set the phone down. Walk to the nursery I built for my granddaughters, the one Sophia never lets them sleep in because it smells like old people. I open the closet. Inside is a box I haven't touched in 15 years. I pull it out, open it. Inside are the original incorporation papers for Harrington Beauty. My signature at the bottom. Next to them is a photograph of me at 35, thin, fierce, standing in front of a factory with a sold sign. On the back, in my handwriting, "For Alexander, proof that your mother was once the most dangerous woman in the room." I close the box. Tomorrow the world will remember who I am. And my son, the little boy who once held my finger and never let go, will finally understand what he threw away. I hope it was worth it, sweetheart. Because Mommy is done paying. And now, you're all going to learn what happens when the woman who gave you everything decides you deserve nothing. Sleep tight. The reckoning starts at sunrise. Most people think billionaires sit on yachts and sip champagne all day. They've never seen a real war room. Mine is hidden behind a false bookcase on the second floor of the Snell Isle mansion. No windows, soundproof. Temperature kept at a perfect 68 degrees. At 4:17 a.m., the night of the birthday party, I walked in wearing silk pajamas and fury. The lights came on automatically. 6 85-inch screens woke up like predators opening their eyes. Daniel Cho was already patched in from Manhattan. Sarah Park from Singapore. Marcus, the driver, was actually ex-NSA and now ran my cybersecurity. 3 more ghosts from the old days were on encrypted satellites. They didn't say good morning. They knew better. Daniel spoke first. Voice calm, lethal. "Evelyn, meet Whitmore Logistics. It's worse than we thought." He threw the autopsy onto the main screen.
a corpse in numbers. Total senior debt, $187 million. Second lien, another $41 million. Monthly cash burn, $2.7 million. They lied on the public filings. Accounts payable, 142 days past due. Fuel hedges expiring in 11 days. If diesel spikes, they're dead. Personal guarantee by Richard T. Whitmore, $87 million secured against everything he owns. Covenant breach, already triggered. The banks just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Sarah flicked the next slide. SunTrust Private Wealth holds 72% of the senior debt. They're terrified of regulators. They will sell the entire package at 52 cents on the dollar if we close by Tuesday noon. I leaned forward. Buy it at 48. Make them feel the knife. Daniel grinned for the first time in 15 years. Already negotiating, they're sweating. Next screen. A live map of every Whitmore asset, 1,400 tractors, 3,800 trailers, 41 terminals from Miami to Richmond, a warehouse in Savannah that Sophia forced her father to build for her e-commerce empire, currently 18% occupied and bleeding $340K a month. Beach house in Ponte Vedra assessed at $11.2 million. 72-foot Viking yacht named Sophia's Grace, my personal favorite. 4 country club memberships. Richard's 401k, $4.8 million. Everything Richard Whitmore has spent 40 years building is now collateral. And collateral can be seized. Marcus spoke for the first time, voice like gravel. We own the debt in 48 hours. Convert to equity in 72. You'll control 100% of voting shares before Richard finishes his Wednesday omelet. I nodded. Show me the kill shot. Sarah dragged a file labeled Sophia Expenditures, Trust Fund Diversion. My blood turned to ice. Between 2019 and now, Sophia siphoned $12.4 million from my girl's trust, money that was supposed to be locked until age 30. She moved it through 6 shell companies named things like Charlotte and Isabella Holdings, LLC, and Future Heirs Management. Every transfer approved by... I have the screenshot. I'm looking at it right now. The wolf inside me didn't just wake up tonight. She was born the first time he chose her over me. She grew every time he let her hurt me. And tonight, when he laughed at the video of his mother being humiliated, she decided it was time. I pick up the burner phone, text Daniel Cho one last message before dawn. Make sure the takeover is public. I want Alexander to watch it happen. His reply comes instantly. He will. I set the phone down, walk to the nursery I built for my granddaughters, the one Sophia never lets them sleep in because it smells like old people. I open the closet. Inside is a box I haven't touched in 15 years. I pull it out, open it. Inside are the original incorporation papers for Harrington Beauty. My signature at the bottom. Next to them is a photograph of me at 35, thin, fierce, standing in front of a factory with a sold sign. On the back, in my handwriting, for Alexander, proof that your mother was once the most dangerous woman in the room. I close the box. Tomorrow, the world will remember who I am, and my son, the little boy who once held my finger and never let go, will finally understand what he threw away. I hope it was worth it, sweetheart, because Mommy is done paying. And now you're all going to learn what happens when the woman who gave you everything decides you deserve nothing. Sleep tight. The reckoning starts at sunrise. Most people think billionaires sit on yachts and sip champagne all day. They've never seen a real war room. Mine is hidden behind a false bookcase on the second floor of the Snell Isle mansion. No windows, soundproof,
Temperature kept at a perfect 68 degrees. On 4:17 a.m., the night of the birthday party, I walked in wearing silk pajamas and fury. The lights came on automatically. 6 85-inch screens woke up like predators opening their eyes. Daniel Cho was already patched in from Manhattan, Sarah Park from Singapore. Marcus, the driver, was actually ex-NSA and now ran my cybersecurity. 3 more ghosts from the old days were on encrypted satellites. They didn't say good morning. They knew better. Daniel spoke first, voice calm, lethal. Evelyn, meet Whitmore Logistics. It's worse than we thought. He threw the autopsy onto the main screen. A corpse in numbers. Total senior debt, $187 million. Second lien, another $41 million. Monthly cash burn, $2.7 million. They lied on the public filings. Accounts payable, 142 days past due. Fuel hedges expiring in 11 days. If diesel spikes, they're dead. Personal guarantee by Richard T. Whitmore, $87 million secured against everything he owns. Covenant breach, already triggered. The banks just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Sarah flicked the next slide. SunTrust Private Wealth holds 72% of the senior debt. They're terrified of regulators. They will sell the entire package at 52 cents on the dollar if we close by Tuesday noon. I leaned forward. Buy it at 48. Make them feel the knife. Daniel grinned for the first time in 15 years. We're already negotiating. They're sweating. Next screen. A live map of every Whitmore asset. 1,400 tractors, 3,800 trailers, 41 terminals from Miami to Richmond, a warehouse in Savannah that Sophia forced her father to build for her e-commerce empire, currently 18% occupied and bleeding $340K a month. Beach house in Ponte Vedra, assessed at $11.2 million. 72-foot Viking yacht named Sophia's Grace, my personal favorite. And 4 country club memberships. Richard's 401k, $4.8 million. Everything Richard Whitmore has spent 40 years building is now collateral. And collateral can be seized. Marcus spoke for the first time, voice like gravel. We own the debt in 48 hours. Convert to equity in 72. You'll control 100% of voting shares before Richard finishes his Wednesday omelet. I nodded. Show me the kill shot. Sarah dragged a file labeled Sophia Expenditures, Trust Fund Diversion. My blood turned to ice.
Leave Sophia nothing. Not one dime. Not one Birkin. Not one follower. Sarah actually laughed. A rare sound. Already done. The Savannah warehouse? We're foreclosing Tuesday at 9:03 a.m. Security team is booked. Cameras ready. Live stream link will be sent to every employee and every Jacksonville gossip blog. Marcus added, we also bought the debt on Sophia's Miami condo. Title transfers Wednesday. We're evicting Thursday. I nodded once. Good. Daniel leaned closer to his camera. One more thing. Alexander just tried to call you 17 times. Left 4 voicemails. Wants to explain. I didn't even blink. Block him. Silence. Then Daniel. Yes, ma'am. I looked at the main screen one last time. A countdown timer Sarah had added. Tuesday, 9 a.m., emergency shareholder meeting, Whitmore Logistics headquarters, Jacksonville, Florida. Guest list: Richard Whitmore, Sophia Whitmore Harrington, Board of Directors, 400 employees watching on closed circuit. My name is not on the invitation. Yet. I turn to the team. Gentlemen, lady, you have 48 hours to make me the sole owner of everything Richard Whitmore has ever touched. Then I'm going to walk into that boardroom and introduce myself properly. Sarah smiled like a shark. Music to my ears. The screens went dark one by one. I walked out of the war room, closed the bookcase, and stood in the hallway listening to the house breathe. Somewhere downstairs, the grandfather clock my husband bought in London chimed 5 times. 5 a.m. In 4 hours, the banks open. In 52 hours, Richard Whitmore will wake up a poor man. In 54 hours, Sophia will learn what happens when you steal from children and mock her grandmother on camera. And in 55 hours, my son will finally understand the true cost of every time he looked away. I went to the kitchen, made myself a cup of tea with the same Wedgwood cup I used when Alexander was small and had nightmares. I carried it to the balcony, watched the first pink edge of sunrise touch Tampa Bay, and I spoke to the water. One more time. You wanted a pig, Sophia. You're about to meet the entire slaughterhouse. Monday, 11:47 p.m. The world is asleep. Richard Whitmore is asleep. Sophia is asleep in Egyptian cotton sheets she didn't pay for. Alexander is staring at his ceiling, phone dark, knowing something is wrong but too afraid to call again. I am not asleep. I am standing in the war room again, barefoot, wearing black silk pajamas and the pearl earrings I buried my husband in. Every screen is alive. Daniel Cho's face fills the center one. He looks like a man who just won the lottery and burned the ticket for fun. Elevin, it's done. He throws the final documents across the shared screen. 11:49 p.m. Harrington Capital now owns 100% of the senior debt of Whitmore Logistics. 11:51 p.m. Debt to equity conversion executed. 11:53 p.m. New stock certificates issued in the name of Harrington South Logistics, LLC, a Delaware entity no one has ever heard of. 11:55 p.m. Old board dissolved by written consent. 11:57 p.m. New board, 1 seat. Evelyn Harrington, Chairman and CEO. Daniel leaned back. Congratulations. You just bought a $400 million company for $89 million cash. And nobody outside this room knows yet. Sarah Park appears on the second screen, live from Singapore. Security teams are in position. Jacksonville headquarters, 8 ex-Navy guards, non-lethal, cameras rolling, Savannah warehouse, 6 more. Pontevedra Beach House, locksmith on standby to change every lock at 6 a.m. Miami condo, eviction notice taped to the door 37 minutes ago. Marcus patches in from the driveway. Gulfstream is fueled at Peter O. Knight. Flight plan filed to Craig Airport, Jacksonville. Wheels up in 40 minutes. You'll land at 5
5:12 a.m. No one will see you arrive. I nod once. Show me the calendar invite. Sarah throws it up. Subject: Emergency all-hands shareholder meeting. Location: Whitmore Logistics Corporate HQ, boardroom. Time: Tuesday, 9 a.m. sharp. Note: New majority shareholder will be in attendance. Sent from an anonymous account to every executive, every board member, every Whitmore. Richard opened it at 8:03 p.m. Sophia opened it at 8:17 p.m. They have no idea who sent it. They will tomorrow. Daniel pulls up the final treat, a live drone feed over Richard Whitmore's Ponte-Vedra beach house. All the lights are off, except the pool lights glowing turquoise. His 72-foot Viking yacht, Sophia's Grace, rocks gently at the private dock. Daniel zooms in on the transom. At 11:59 p.m., a silent tender pulls up. Two men in black climb aboard. They cover the name with magnetic vinyl. New name: Evelyn's Revenge. Daniel looks straight into the camera. Consider it a gift. I almost smiled. Almost. Instead, I say, wake the pilots. I want to be on the ground before the sun. The screens go dark one by one. I walk upstairs, change into plain black slacks, white silk blouse, low heels. No jewelry except the pearls. I look forgettable. Perfect. Marcus is waiting with the Maybach. We drive in silence to the private airstrip. The Gulfstream is idling, stairs down, engines whispering. I climb aboard. The flight is 43 minutes. I don't sleep. I watch the Florida coastline slide beneath us like black velvet. At 5:12 a.m., we touch down in Jacksonville. A black Suburban is waiting. No plates. We drive straight to the River Club penthouse downtown, the same suite I used when I bought shopping malls during the recession. I walk in, pour a glass of water, and stand at the window. The St. Johns River is still dark. Across it, the Whitmore Logistics headquarters sleeps under floodlights. 6 hours from now, I will walk through those doors. Richard and Sophia think tomorrow is just another Tuesday. They have no idea tomorrow is Judgment Day. 5:59 a.m. My phone buzzes. A video file from Sarah. I open it. Security footage from the Savannah warehouse. Timestamped 5:47 a.m. Sophia's failed e-commerce empire, the one she stole from my granddaughters to build. The lights flick on. 8 guards in Harrington security uniforms walk in. They post a foreclosure notice on every door. Then, they change every lock. One guard pans the camera slowly across 400,000 square feet of empty shelves. In the middle of the floor, someone has placed a single item. A giant pink piggy bank. Smashed open, empty. The video ends. I set the phone down. 6:17 a.m. Another text from an unknown number, actually Marcus, downstairs. Ponte-Vedra update. Locks changed, yacht renamed, Cadillac keys removed from Richard's keyring while he slept. Housekeeper paid triple to call in sick today. 6:41 a.m. Alexander tries to call again. I let it ring. He leaves a voicemail. I don't play it. 7:02 a.m. Richard Whitmore wakes up. His phone explodes with calendar reminders. He has no idea why. He kisses his sleeping wife goodbye. Sophia flew up last night for moral support. He gets in the Cadillac. It won't start. The battery has been disconnected. He calls Uber Black. He still thinks he's the king. 8:27 a.m. Sophia posts an Instagram story from the hotel. Mirror selfie in a pink blazer, hair curled, caption, ready to crush whatever this emergency meeting is about. Daddy always handles the drama. She has 1.4 million followers. By noon, she will have 0 sponsorships. 8:51 a.m. The boardroom begins to fill. I watch on the hidden camera Marcus installed last month. Richard walks in looking hungover. Sophia struts in scrolling TikTok. The other executives look nervous. They should be. 8:58 a.m. I am standing outside the headquarters in the lobby. No one notices. Plain clothes, hair in a low bun, reading a newspaper like any other early visitor. Security waves me through. My new badge works perfectly. I take the elevator to the executive floor. The hallway is silent. I walk slowly. The boardroom door is closed. Inside, Richard is pounding the table. Who the hell called this meeting? I'm still the majority owner. A nervous assistant tries to explain the calendar invite came from the registered agent. Sophia laughs. Probably some jealous competitor. Daddy, just fire whoever did this. 8:59 a.m. I stand outside the door. I smooth my blouse. I take one breath. And then I push the door open. Every head turned. Richard half stands. Mrs. Harrington? What on earth are... I step inside, close the door behind me with a soft click. I place my Hermes Kelly bag on the table, open it, pull out one sheet of paper. The stock transfer agreement. I look straight at Sophia first, then at Richard, then at every terrified face in the room. Good morning, I say, voice soft, steady, lethal. My name is Evelyn Harrington. And as of 11:57 last night, this company belongs to me. I slide the paper across the table. Richard reaches for it with shaking hands. Sophia's phone slips from her fingers and shatters on the hardwood floor. The room temperature drops 20 degrees. And that, darling, is when the screaming starts.
His face went gray. I turned to the room, 14 executives, all men except one, all pale. Whitmore Logistics no longer exists. As of this morning, you are employees of Harrington South Logistics, a wholly owned subsidiary of Harrington Capital. Your old contracts are terminated. New ones will be offered at my discretion. Someone whimpered. Richard looked up, eyes wild. You can't do this. I built this company with my own... I cut him off. With my son's trust fund, you mean? The one your daughter diverted $11 million from to buy handbags in a warehouse that loses $340,000 a month? Gasps. Sophia's head snapped toward her father. Daddy, she's lying. I tapped my phone. A projector came to life behind me. Bank records, trust transfers, Alexander's signature on every single one. The room saw everything. Richard sank into his chair like a man watching his own funeral. I walked slowly around the table until I stood behind Sophia. I leaned down, voice soft, right next to her ear so every microphone in the room caught it. You called me a pig, darling, in front of 300 people, on camera. Remember? She started shaking. I straightened. Richard, look at me. He did, barely. Your company is mine. Your house is mine. Your yacht is mine. Renamed this morning, by the way, Evelyn's Revenge. Your country club memberships? Canceled. Your pension? $4,200 a month. Your Cadillac? Battery reconnected. You can pick it up in the visitor lot. His mouth opened. No sound came out. I turned to the executives. You're all free to resign effective immediately, or you can stay and work for the woman your former boss's daughter humiliated on video. Your choice. One by one, they started standing, walking out. By the time I finished speaking, only Richard and Sophia remained. I looked at them, father and daughter, the two people who had spent 6 years treating me like garbage. I pressed the intercom. Security. 2 guards entered. I pointed at Richard. Escort Mr. Whitmore to his former office. He has 10 minutes to remove personal items, then to the lobby. He is never to set foot in this building again. Richard stood, swaying. Evelyn, please, we're family. I looked him dead in the eye. Family doesn't oink. The guards took his arms. He started crying as they dragged him out. Then it was just Sophia and me. She tried to stand. I placed one hand on her shoulder and pushed her back down. Hard. Not yet. I opened my bag again, pulled out my phone, opened the birthday party video, turned the volume up. Her voice filled the boardroom. The old, fat, disgusting pig we all have to pretend isn't embarrassing us right now. The oinking, the laughter, her triumphant face. I let it play all the way to the end. Then I looked at her. Your father just lost everything because of you. Your husband is filing divorce papers as we speak. Your Miami condo is being padlocked tomorrow. Your Birkins are being auctioned next week. Your followers already dropping. She started hyperventilating. I leaned in until we were nose to nose. You wanted the world to see me as a pig. Now the world is about to watch you get slaughtered. I straightened, nodded to the guards. Take her out the front. Use the lobby cameras. Make sure every employee sees. She screamed as they grabbed her, acrylics clawing, hair extensions flying, heels scraping across the carpet. Alexander will never forgive you, you jealous old hag. I smiled. Alexander already knows. I sent him the video the morning after. He's been watching his empire burn for 36 hours. The fight left her body. They carried her out. The lobby live stream was already rolling. By noon, Jacksonville Reddit, Tampa gossip pages, and every influencer group chat in Florida had the video, title trending everywhere. Bride's billionaire mother-in-law buys company after being called fat pig at birthday party and fires father-in-law on live stream. I stayed in the boardroom until sunset, signed new contracts, promoted the warehouse manager who had been passed over for 20 years. Reinstated health insurance Richard had cut. At 6:47 p.m., I walked out the front doors myself. The Florida humidity wrapped around me like victory. I got into the Suburban, closed the door, and for the first time in 6 years, I laughed.
You didn't just humiliate her, Sophia. You humiliated me. You used my granddaughter's future to fund your Instagram life. You destroyed 40 years of work because you wanted to be cruel on camera for likes. Sophia started sobbing. Daddy, I'm sorry. He stood up. No, he said, you're not sorry. You're broke. There's a difference. He walked to the door. She lunged, grabbing his arm. Where are you going? You can't leave me like this. Richard looked down at her manicured hand on his sleeve. Then he looked her in the eye. I have a new job interview tomorrow. Driving Uber Black. My first passenger asked for Richard from the pig video. He tipped me $20 out of pity. He removed her hand. Goodbye, Sophia. He walked out. She screamed his name down the hallway. He didn't turn around. Richard got back in the Cadillac, drove to the only address he could afford now, a 1-bedroom apartment in Orange Park above a laundromat. He carried the banker's box up 3 flights of stairs, set it on a card table that would double as his dining room. Then he opened the box, took out the world's best dad mug, and for the first time in 40 years, Richard Whitmore cried like a child. He cried for the company he lost. He cried for the beach house. He cried for the yacht. But mostly he cried because the last words his daughter ever said to him were, "You can't leave me like this." And he realized she still didn't understand. She had left him first. The day she decided a stranger's mother was worth more humiliated than loved.
Richard poured himself a drink from a plastic bottle of bourbon he bought at a gas station, raised the world's best dad mug to the empty room, and toasted the truth he would carry to his grave. I raised a monster, and the monster ate us both. The video dropped at 11:03 a.m. on Tuesday. Someone inside the building, my new assistant actually, hit accidentally record live stream on the company Slack and pushed it to every employee's phone. Title: Emergency Shareholder Meeting, live. Within 8 minutes, it was on Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and every Florida gossip page that exists. By 11:30 a.m., it had 4 million views. By noon, it was the #1 trending topic worldwide. By 2 p.m., it had its own hashtag Grandma Revenge. And the internet did what the internet does best. It feasted. Here is what the world watched frame by frame. 0 to 0:18. The boardroom door opens. I walk in wearing plain black and white. Every head turns. 0 to 19 to 0:27. I place the single sheet of paper on the table. Good morning. This company belongs to me. 0:28 to 0:45. Sophia's phone hits the floor and shatters. Richard half stands, mouth open like a fish. 0:46 to 1:12. I list the assets now under my control. House, yacht, memberships, pension. Richard's face collapses in real time. 1:13 to 1:38. Security drags Sophia out. She is screaming, kicking, extensions flying. One shoe comes off. She is barefoot by the time they reach the lobby. 1:39 to 2:05. Lobby cameras pick it up. 400 employees watch on their phones as Sophia is deposited on the sidewalk on Bay Street. An Uber Black pulls up, driven by a former Whitmore driver I rehired at double pay. He opens the door, looks at her, and says, loud enough for the mic, "Sorry, ma'am, cash only. Your card was declined." The internet exploded. The comments came in faster than YouTube could load them. The shoe flew off. I'm dead. From Birkins to barefoot in 48 hours. Grandma said no mercy, and I felt that. She really got dragged out like Monday trash. Play this at my funeral. By 3 p.m., every major news outlet had the story. CNN. Billionaire grandmother buys company after daughter-in-law's public humiliation. Fox. Florida woman exacts coldest revenge in history. Daily Mail. From laddery cake to concrete sidewalk, the fall of an influencer. Sophia tried to go live on Instagram at 3:17 p.m. from the back of a different Uber. She lasted 9 seconds before the driver recognized her and ended the ride on the side of I-95. She walked 2 miles in one heel before a Good Samaritan picked her up. That video hit 28 million views. Her follower count went into free fall, 1.4 M to 1.1 M to 789K to 412K to 187K to 63K. Every brand she ever worked with posted the same statement. We have ended our relationship with Sophia Whitmore Harrington effective immediately. Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, Sugar Bear Hair all gone. Her manager stopped answering calls. Her publicist quit by text. Alexander served her divorce papers at 4:52 p.m. at the Courtyard Marriott. The process server filmed it for TikTok. She tried to slam the door. He stuck his foot in and said, "Ma'am, you've been served," exactly like the memes. The clip got 61 million views. Richard's collapse was quieter, but no less brutal. He drove Uber Black for the first time Wednesday night. His first passenger was a 23-year-old influencer who recognized him immediately. She went live from the back seat. "Guys, I'm in the car with the dad from the pig video. Say hi, Mr. Whitmore." He looked in the rearview mirror, eyes dead. "Please don't." She posted it anyway. He made $47 that night after expenses. The yacht sold at auction the following Monday for $2.1 million, half of what he paid. I bought it through a shell company and renamed it back to Sophia's Grace, then donated it to a women's sailing charity in Jacksonville. The beach house sold 30 days later.
I turned it into a battered women's shelter. The dedication plaque on the front door reads, "May every woman who walks through these doors know her worth is not decided by anyone else." Sophia's Miami condo went to auction. I bought that too. Now it houses single mothers going to community college. Her Birkin collection, 47 bags, was auctioned by Sotheby's. Total raised $1.8 million. Every dollar went into a new trust for Charlotte and Isabella, locked until age 35, administered by a board I personally chose. Sophia got nothing. Not 1 cent. She tried to fight the divorce in court. The judge watched the birthday party video, the boardroom video, and the trust fund theft evidence. He granted Alexander full custody and zero alimony in 8 minutes. Sophia moved back to Jacksonville, tried to get a job at Neiman Marcus. They turned her down due to brand image concerns. She ended up at a Lululemon in the St. John's Town Center. Name tag, Sophia W. She dropped the Harrington. Customers still recognize her. They ask for photos. Some leave 1-star Google reviews that just say, wink. Richard's apartment lease is month to month. He eats dinner alone every night at a Waffle House off Blanding Boulevard. He always orders the All-Star Special. He always tips exactly 18%. He always sits facing the window so no one can film him from behind. His phone wallpaper is still a photo of Sophia at 16, before the fillers, before the cruelty. He never changed it. He never will. The last time anyone saw them together was 6 months after the takeover. Sophia walked into the same Waffle House at 2:14 a.m. Richard was in his usual booth. She stood there in leggings and an oversized hoodie, no makeup, hair in a messy bun. She opened her mouth. He looked up once, then looked back at his coffee. She left without saying a word. The waitress heard him whisper to the empty booth, "You were my little girl once." Then he paid the check and drove away in the Cadillac that still smells like the leather of a life he no longer owns. That moment never made it online. Some destructions are too complete for cameras. The Vinoy Renaissance, Saturday evening, October 18th, exactly 1 year to the day since the birthday that changed everything. Same grand ballroom, same Gulf breeze drifting through the open terrace doors, same crystal chandeliers sparkling like nothing ever happened. But everything is different. The room holds only 20 people tonight. Close family. Real family. Alexander stands at the head table in a simple navy suit, no designer label, no watch that costs more than a car. He is thinner, calmer, and for the first time in a decade, his eyes are clear. Charlotte and Isabella, my granddaughters, run between the tables in pale pink dresses, giggling barefoot because I told grandmas allow barefoot cake parties. There is one 5-tier Lodgeway vanilla bean cake, flown in yesterday, just like old times. I am wearing the exact same emerald silk gown from last year, dry cleaned, pressed, and now altered to fit the 10 pounds I lost turning an empire back on. Alexander walks over to me. He doesn't speak at first. He just hugs me. Long, tight, the way he did when he was 7 and scared of thunder. When he finally pulls back, his voice cracks. "Mom, I was blind. For years. I let her hurt you, over and over because it was easier than fighting. I will never forgive myself for that." I touch his cheek. "You came home, sweetheart. That's the only thing that matters now." He nods, eyes wet, and
Grandma, cut the cake. You first. I pick up the silver knife. The room goes quiet. I stand in the exact spot where Sophia once held that microphone and called me a pig in front of 300 strangers. I look at the 20 people who love me. No phones raised, no cruelty hiding behind champagne flutes. Then I look straight into the camera that is live streaming to my new YouTube channel, the one that hit 10 million subscribers last month, telling this story chapter by chapter. I smile, slow, warm, unbreakable. And I say the words the entire internet has been waiting a year to hear.
Some women spend their lives being told they're too old, too quiet, too soft, too giving. Some of us smile and bring the cake anyway. Some of us pay for the weddings, the houses, the dreams. Some of us absorb every insult, every oink, every laugh, and we keep smiling because we know something the cruel ones never learn. Silence isn't weakness, it's ammunition. I cut the first slice, extra thick, extra frosting. I hold it up so the light catches the vanilla beans. And when the moment comes, when they finally hand us the microphone they think will destroy us, we don't scream. We simply take back everything they thought was theirs. Because some of us earned the right long ago to eat cake whenever we damn well please. I take a bite, close my eyes, let the sweetness flood every place the bitterness once lived. The room erupts in cheers, laughter, tears. Alexander kisses my cheek, the girls still frosting with their fingers, and for the first time in 7 years, my house, my heart, my family is whole. Later that night, after the last guest leaves, I walk out onto the terrace alone. The same terrace I fled 1 year ago with a broken heart and a burner phone. The gulf is black velvet under a full moon. I pull out that same old phone, now fully charged, still only one contact. I type a single text and send it to the team that made this possible. Thank you. Retirement starts again tomorrow, this time for good. 3 dots appear. Daniel Cho replies instantly. Welcome home, Evelyn. The world is a better place when wolves wear pearls. I smile, turn the phone off, and slip it into the pocket sewn inside this very gown, the pocket that started everything. Then I look up at the stars and speak to the only man who ever truly deserved my heart. I kept my promise, darling. I protected our boy. I protected our name. And I taught them all what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. The breeze answers, soft and warm. I walk back inside, close the terrace doors, and for the first time in 71 years, Evelyn Harrington goes to bed with nothing left to prove. Because some victories are loud and viral and trend for weeks, and some victories are quiet. They sound like children laughing. They taste like vanilla bean frosting, and they feel like peace. The screen fades to black. White text appears, slow and deliberate. To every grandmother, mother, wife, woman who ever smiled while they insulted you, who paid the bill while they laughed at you, who stayed quiet while they tried to make you small. This story is for you. You are not the pig. You are the whole damn farm. And when you're ready, eat the cake first.